Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. I'm Ted, hanging out with
Nate.
And as you can guess by our arrangement today, we're here for another Nerdcraft. And we're going to talk about kit bashing today, and more specifically, we're going to go into cutting off pieces of miniatures and how to hey, I want that one piece, how do I get that off without, essentially damaging the rest of the miniature in case you want to use it later, or in this case, like, hey, I've got a little skeleton guy and I want to hack it up into a pile of bones, say to, decorate my dungeon or put inside a gelatinous cube.
Sounds like a good idea.
So, we're gonna, zoom on into the actual skeleton at work here, and see what we can actually teach you. Alright, so here we have a handful of skeletal minions. As you can see from their bases, they're from Mage Knight. And, as we talked about, it's like, oh, well, if, you want to make a gelatinous cube through some other Nerdcraft videos, you can go find out how to do that. But Nate and I have a gelatinous cube that we want to, put full of bones, and I've got a handful of bones, and they happen to be part of another miniature. So whatever you choose to use as your knife, be it a scalpel, a utility knife, or a fold-out knife, whatever it is that you want to use, go grab that. I always like to have something down as my cutting surface so you don't damage whatever's below it. Nate suggested if you've got an old mouse pad, you can kind of flip it over and you've got a nice soft squishy bit to use, or if you want to use just the hard textured, you can use that side. I just have a sheet of plastic here that I use as mine. You can see that I've got paint spots, so you can tell that it's actually been used. So with this particular guy here, he has some good leg bones that you can use, but he's also got a really well-shaped, what do you want to call it? The hip bones. Totally blanking on names at the moment. But if you look at it from the back, you can see how well formed these bones are, and you also see that there's very little connection in between his femur and the hip bones. So that's going to be your ideal cutting point. So you're going to want to cut right in here so that you can save these pieces, because, as I said, it's the detail on it is really cool. So if you come in here and all right, I want to get his shield out of the way. It's plastic, it's going to bend. So I'll just bend that out of the way, and I can just come in here and just give just a little bit of a push. And because it's plastic, it's gonna give pretty darn easily. It's supposed to give easily. Maybe my knife's not sharp enough anymore. I've used it on too many minis. So got a nice little connection, or a nice little separation. You can see that you've still got a little bit of crud here and a little bit of crud there, but that's going to happen. And so again, we'll pull that aside and come in here, and always good to have the majority of your blade on the opposite side of the mini. So we snapped off there. So now you've got this separation, and you've got two legs fully ready to use. I'm going to snap the spear off and get him out of the way, and I'm looking for these leg bones. This is what I'm trying to use today for the inside of my gelatinous cube. See, this is where sometimes plastic winds up giving out, and rather than cutting, the actual foot is starting to come off of the base. And Nate will grab that from off into the nether, and look at that. There's a nice little leg bone, totally ready to shove in a gelatinous cube. I can kind of go for the other one, seeing that the weakness of the other side, he jumped off the base rather than allowing me to separate it from his feet. And this one kind of does the same thing. So now I've managed to remove two legs while keeping the rest of this guy intact. You can wind up if you want to use other pieces, you can wind up saying, okay, well, you know, let's grab this arm, or let's grab these hip bones, or, ooh, I want to use that shield. You've still got the ability to take those off because you didn't destroy the miniature while trying to get these skeletal legs. So that's just a, you know, a simple little thing. If you want to clean up the miniature, you can of course come in here with the knife and clean up these little bits to shore up. Hey, this is a hip bone, not a hip bone with some junk on it.
Using the not so dull.
Yes, the utility knife seems to have a much sharper blade today. Maybe I've been using the other one too much. But you can come in here and clean them up. And if the pieces you're cutting off is going to have visibility, you're going to want to make sure that you either give the overall piece of paint job, or, you know, spot paint the areas where you can see the cut plastic, because, you know, if it's not going to fit, it's not going to look good. So if we want to take this shield, you look very closely here, you can see that he's got some very small connections. So I'm going to go grab my nicer knife here, and I'm just going to tear through those small little pieces, and boom, just like that, I removed the shield from him. You can clean this up so that it can be added to anything else that you want, be it hey, this is just a coffin, or it's going to be a shield. All you need is a flat surface to adhere this to, and you've got yourself a nice little happy shield or decoration piece or whatever have you. So if you thought that was kind of neat, you know, if you want to see me dissect something else, learn another technique, put it in the comments below. While you're doing that, feel free to click like, share, even subscribe. And until next time, stay nerdy.